I felt like mine started pretty good. We did the sneak peek to coaching group, and I had like 9 people who were there and watched all the videos, but then no takers after it. And
Yeah.
I was just like, out of 9, I should have at least one.
Oh, that's hard.
But we just got like ghosted afterwards, so that was kind of a bummer.
Yeah. And all those like no's are probably not yets in so many ways, but it's always tough when you're like, hey.
Right, totally.
Yeah.
It's hard, I think, to really focus, like really 10x for me personally and not see any like success. But again, I know it's just seeds, but
Yeah.
it's been hard.
I know. I hear you on that. And I want to share with you guys a little bit about tough months too, because that's going to happen, to build grit in the business, because I was talking to Kelly, and she was saying she's had a really hard month. She was saying to me, like right now she's still at SC4, and she's like, what is going on? Like that's not typical. My goal is to hit Success Club 10 by the 10th of the month. And I had points taken away this month. And so I was at SC4 a couple days ago, and I was like, what is going, and it's not for, like you said, lack of trying. So I just wanted to like start this off by, first of all, encouraging you, because I've heard from other coaches that this has been a hard month for a lot of you. And I just want to encourage you that if you give up now and you give into that discouragement now, you're giving up on a huge opportunity that's ahead of you. Okay. Because I think grit is built in those moments where we don't see our success, and also discouragement is built. And so that's where you have to fight against it so that you can push through that and have the grit to really see the success that you want to see. So whether you've had a really, really good month or you've had a really sucky month like me, where I'm sitting here like, and we're going to talk about this too, because that was one of the questions I got of like, what do you do to close the sale? How do you get people at the end of the month to like say yes? But because I was at Success Club 4 2 days ago, and I should be at Success Club 12 tomorrow, because I was like, I have to make something different happen. So and I'll share with you about that later too. But we wanted to kind of talk about on this call some things. I want you to hear what you're struggling with, and then we want to problem solve kind of some of those things. And I have a couple of them that we can cover next, but I'd love to hear your voices first. But I would love to hear from you, maybe some things like roadblocks you've run into, so that we can kind of talk through. And feel free, this is like, it doesn't have to just be me talking, but I will give you some of my input, kind of things that I found after 3.5 years in the business that have helped me kind of work through those roadblocks that maybe you're going to share. But this call is really meant to like, sometimes I think that we kind of live in our frustration in the business and then we give up, like kind of like what we were just saying. It's like, it's hard because you don't see the fruit, and that's life. That is so true. We all have people in our groups that are like, I'm not seeing any weight loss for like 3 weeks in a row. And you're like, just wait, the whoosh is coming, like clean up your nutrition, just wait. And then they fall off, but the people that stick it out, what do they see? They see the whoosh happen. They see it. They see the weight start to really come off. And it's the same way in the business. Sometimes we have those months where it's like, what the heck is happening? But we need to talk about how we can work through those struggles. So tell me, what are some of the struggles you're having or questions you have that you want to work through? Let's problem solve together. Who wants to start? By the way, I'm Margot. I haven't met all of you before. Sorry, I probably should have said hello. I'm seeing a lot of new faces I haven't seen before. My name is Margot Martin. I've been a coach for 3.5 years, something like that. And I love it. Just love, love, love it. So it's really fun to see new faces and old faces and friends and new friends. So. All right, what are you struggling with? Tell me.
Okay, I'll start. A couple of things. I had several people on my list that were so close. They just seemed, they want more information or whatever. And I really took advantage of your suggestions about asking lots of questions. Like, how much is it? Well, before I just gave them a dollar amount, I said, well, let's talk about what it is that you really want. Like where would you like to be in 6 months, and what kinds of goals, like really trying to break down what it is that they need. And so the two things that have happened are, I just don't have the money, which I'm used to. I mean, that's a very common, I just don't have the money. And one gal is saying, I just don't have the money till Friday. And I think she's going to sign up as a discount coach, which I really need by Wednesday. I mean, like I need 2. I have to have 2 by Wednesday. it's like, has to happen. Anyway, so there's that. But then the other thing is, or they just aren't answering. And so I'm thinking, gosh, I don't want to just be that girl that just keeps messaging. I gotta back off. And I have, just like Stacy said, man, messaging like crazy, talking to a bunch of people, but then so it's either no money or they're ghosting. So then at this point, it's hard to start anything new with anybody that leads to a sale. I mean, I sent a message, I got somebody to respond to. She's like, I'm curious. So I'll talk to her. So I'll keep asking, but it's like, how'd you go from 4 to 12, Margot? Like, what did you do?
Yeah, let me tell you about that. Because I was panicking. I was like, what am I going to do? Because it's not a negotiable for me to hit Success Club. I've hit Success Club for the last 3.5 years and made it happen. And it's like been my non-negotiable. And it's come down to this. I can count on, I think it's been like 5 months where I've hit this point where it's the end of the month. I'm like, what do I do? So this is honestly the most stressful that it's been and most upsetting it's been, because I got points taken away, I was like, oh, I've got it, I'm moving forward. And then I got these points taken away, which I feel like they were wrongfully taken away. That's a different story, because it was a very strange situation, not typical. But okay. So first of all, to answer when you get ghosted, let's talk about that first, because I think that's a very common issue that we all hit, right? And it's funny you said that, because today I was looking through a bunch of old messages and I saw someone who I ghosted. I was like, I don't want to respond. Like, I don't want to go to another Usborne invitation thing, and I just didn't respond. And so first of all, I think the important thing to remember is just blanket statement. Don't take it personally. Okay. So, I think that most people are more concerned about themselves than they are about you and what you're doing in your business. Because I don't look at that girl and go, she's annoying. I look at her and be like, no, I'm just not interested and I don't want to respond to this, So first of all, don't take it personally. Second, if you get ghosted, this is what I say. I usually message them and I say something like, hey, I know life gets busy. I haven't heard back from you. And I know that, I usually say, hey girl, I know I haven't heard back from you. I totally understand life gets busy and I miss messages too. So I just wanted to check back in one last time and let you know that my groups are always open and this opportunity is always open. I am getting ready to close up for this current group, but if you're interested, get back to me right away. I'd love to offer you a $10 cash rebate if you join this month. So I kind of put a little bit of pressure on them, and I offer cash rebates often if I get down to the end of the month to people, because I feel like that really helps. I mean, lots of times people, if it's a money issue, $10 makes a huge difference. And so that sometimes can get people with the rebate. I offered to do it PayPal or Venmo if they have it. If not, I just send them $10 cash in the mail. And I found that to work really, really well for me. And I'll share what I'm doing this month in just a second. But so if they're ghosting you, I just send that general message. Let me see if I can find it. When we were, Kinsey, do you remember at Leadership, Keisha Fitzgerald had a really good, like, when you get ghosted message. And I
can't remember Keisha's, but I do remember a call from forever ago Kelly did with a coach. And this is what I always go back to on that is I say, like, exactly what you just said. And then I say, and if you could let me know either way, so I can know, like, I really want them to get back to me, whether it's a yes or no. Because I'm saying, a lot of the times I'll say, I have your spot reserved and I need to know either way because there's other people who want to get in the group. And then all of a sudden they're like, oh, okay, no, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to, like, hold up the spot for somebody else. No, I'm definitely not interested. Thank you. No, thank you. But then at least you know. And I feel like I get a response from that every single time. And it's not like, it's a little bit of a white lie, but I really do need to know, like, are you in or are you out? Because I'm not going to just put 1 million people in my group, but you kind of, and it's respectful. So it's respectful for that person to get back to you. And I think it's okay to ask.
Right. I think that's so good. And that's very similar to what I do too. And I love that of, like, kind of, putting healthy pressure on people is what I call it. Of, hey, I would love to give you this spot. Like, this is what I sent this morning because I was like, I have to make this happen, to a girl, which what I did this morning, literally at 4:00 in the morning, I got up and I messaged about 25 people. I went back through my message list And I said to them, I looked for people that have not ordered Shakeology from me in the last 6 months, who have been in my groups, who I wanted to check in on. And this is one of the girls. And I said, hey, Rebecca, how are you? Been thinking about you. How's your new journey going? That newest little man sure is cute. If you're thinking about jumping back in, I went big this month because I'm like, this is a non-negotiable. I said, I'm offering a $20 rebate today only on Shakeology if you want to take advantage of the link I sent you above, which was a long time ago. I've never done as much of a rebate before, but it's today only. Let me know if you're interested ASAP or if I can pass the deal along to someone else, but I'd love it to offer it to you first, even though I did send it out to a bunch of people. And I said, hope you're doing great. And I'd love to see your face back in my groups. Let me know either way. So that's what I said. And like I said, I think healthy pressure is good for people. I think people want to feel like wanted. So, and she responded, and by the way, she did respond back to me and she said, hey, Margo, I'm not able to right now, but thanks for thinking of me and congrats on your newest little girl. So, and that's okay. But I did have someone else respond back to that exact same message today. And she said, she gave me a whole spiel about how she was doing so poorly. And she's like, I would like to take you up on that offer. So that, and that I've had 2 people say yes that way. And then I offered another girl a discount coach spot and offered her money off of her, if she wanted to do a Shakeology challenge pack to sign up as a coach. And I'm like, I have to hit this, I have to do it. So that's kind of what I do on months like this. That's what I did this month. I 10X my actions and sent that out to as many people as I could find. I went through my Instagram, went through and messaged people that had disappeared out of my groups that were on Instagram. Offered discount coach spots specifically to 4 people. Had 1 person take me up on it, 1 still thinking about it. So that's, and truly though, I don't often do that. That's just at the end of the month. I don't like to offer rebates unless it's crunch time, because I just don't feel like, I feel like what we offer is valuable enough. But I'm just talking like because we all get there, right? We have these tough months that we're like, what do we do? So does that help a little bit, Steph?
Yeah, it does. So when you say you offer them a rebate on the discount coach Shakeology pack, are you offering to help pay for their sign up fee because they're just getting Shakeology, or is it?
Yeah, it's the same thing. I just say I'll send you a
$20,
$20, $10, whatever, anywhere. Yeah. Often, the $10 one I do often to try to seal the deal with people that are having a money issue. I do that often. But I rarely do what I'm doing this month with offering the $20 rebate. So
I've even been offering the 20 for a few days and I can't I haven't gotten them yet. I'm not giving up, but I haven't gotten them yet. Yeah.
Well, the thing is, the thing that I've tried to remember is and this is what I told Kelly this morning on a message. I said, I have to go all in right in this moment, because I don't want May 1st to come and go, I could have done more. If I don't hit it, I want it to be because I tried my darndest to get it done and I worked my hardest, and I didn't wait and just be like, oh, it's not going to happen. Do you know what I mean? So I think that we push and push and push and push. And I've been known, I remember Brandy Botts one time saying on a call that she sold to her grandma when she's had to, her grandma doesn't do anything with Beachbody. And I had that happen one month where I didn't even know. I was at SC4 and I was like, I literally messaged a girl and I said, can I gift this to you? And she paid for it and I paid her back with my own money. I'm not suggesting you do that, but that's how
I'm there. I'll do that.
Yeah. That's what I've done that a couple of times. Cause to me, I'm like, no, I know myself well enough to know if I let this go, then
yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. You're welcome. All right. Did I miss any questions over here?
I was going to add too on that, going back through your customer list, and this is kind of only relevant to coaches who have been coaches longer than a year, but finding your Beachbody On Demand renewals for the month, who's renewing this month, and then offering them, it's basically a 50% off Shakeology if they were to renew again. So they have to cancel their current bod and sign up with a challenge pack again. And I got a girl to do that. So, and I forget about this all the time. I'm like, why? And I get those renewals every single month, but it's so simple to get, help them out and get a killer deal on Shakeology. And then to get that, that Success Club point again.
Kenzie, can you explain a little bit how that works? I haven't done this for a year, so I don't have.
Yeah. So Say
So
you
is
have
it like their last month or?
Yeah, so you can search in your coach office your customers by date, and I just go back 1 year from today, and see who in the next few weeks it shows me like when they ordered their Beachbody On Demand or Challenge Pack usually in the past, and it'll show their purchase date. So say like I had a girl that's going to be May 10th. So I messaged her and I said, hey, just noticed your Beachbody On Demand is up for renewal May 10th. Just so you know, there is an option to get a 50% back off of Shakeology with that renewal if you wanted to. Otherwise, you'll just get the renewal for $99. I wanted you to make sure you knew about that. And they appreciate it because they appreciate the fact that you're reminding them that they're going to have this money come out. And maybe you lose a sale over it, and maybe they're like, I didn't even know that was going to come out. I need to cancel that. And you're like, that's okay. Like, it happens, and you don't want someone to get wrongfully charged if they really are not going to use it. But it gives you that opportunity to get them back in the challenge group. And majority, I honestly don't think I've had anyone ever say they're going to cancel it outright. They've all at least just let it roll over and had it for another year. So
So do you just have them cancel their account and re-sign up? Is that?
Yep. So they can just go on chat or call Beachbody and say, I want to cancel my bod. And then I tell them to sign up with the link that I'll send them.
Okay. And that can
brand
go,
new challenge pack.
like within minutes. Can you do that?
Yeah, because they'll be charged. And I do it days before they're going to renew their Beachbody On Demand and make sure they don't get charged for that.
Okay.
Their old Beachbody On Demand. Yeah.
I did that when I was, what was it? What was I ordering? What came out at the beginning of the year?
Like T20. A lot of people did it for like T20.
I did. Yeah, that's exactly what I did it for T20 because my Beachbody On Demand was up for renewal in the next like 3 weeks. So from personal experience, I literally called and said, I want to cancel Beachbody On Demand. And they said, why? And I said, because I'm going to sign up for it again here. And they're like, oh, okay, no problem. So it literally took like 2 minutes. And they said, if you actually call on the phone, it cancels right away. If they do it online, it can take up to 2 to 3 days to cancel. And so they can't place their order. So if you're in a crunch, you want to make sure that you say, call them, tell them exactly what to say, just say, just tell them that you're going to cancel and place a new order with a challenge pack, and they're fine with that. So, but yeah, that was something I didn't know until I called. She said, yeah, it's a good thing you called because we cancel it right away if it's on the phone. But if you do it through online, it takes up to 2 to 3 days before you can place another order.
And Steph wrote in the comments that you can't send them another link until their bod is canceled, which is true. I just happen to send a lot of links through my BB links, so that does allow me to send them a link, even if it hasn't completely canceled yet. Yeah. But yeah, if you're going through Share a Cart, it has to be canceled all the way.
And I think that brings up a really good point. For those of you that haven't been in the business a year yet, you came into the business at a really good time with Beachbody On Demand. When we first came into the business, it was video purchases, constant video purchases. And I have to tell you that it's been, 3 years now, Kinsey, of Beachbody On Demand. And I make a lot of commission off of Beachbody On Demand renewals. So it pays to stick with it. Don't give up, because you're going to see those residuals start to happen and your income's going to start to flow. If you've heard me talk before, like I remember when I got into this business, someone said, stick around for a year and you're going to see things happen. And I heard another coach say, no, stick around for 3 years and you're going to see your income start to grow. And I said, you know what? Screw it. I've never just been a half-in person. So I'm committing to this for 3 years because I want to go all in. I'm going to commit to Success Club. I'm going to commit to Diamond. And I think all those things go hand in hand, which is why you're all here. So if you want to be a Diamond coach, you commit to Success Club and you make it happen no matter what. You stick with it for longer than just a few months, even when the going gets hard, and you make new goals every single month. You don't look at last month as a failure, but you look at the ways that you can improve moving forward, and you stick with it, because I'm telling you, after 3.5 years in the business, my income has gone up every single year, and the renewals pay off. So you may not see that now because it's your first year and you're not seeing the renewals. You're just seeing month to month, like things happen. But come your second full year, you're going to start to see those roll in and you're going to be like, yes, this is great. So just to encourage you and give you a little like swift kick in the booty, like if you want to be diamond, you're all capable of it. You just got to make some really hard line decisions in your mind of what is a non-negotiable to you, you know, and what you're going to do to get there. And people will see that grit and they're going to want to join you in that. I promise you, like if you just stay consistent in sharing and doing. So what other areas are you guys struggling in? Other questions?
So I've had this kind of, hi, Shalane. I've been a coach for like maybe 2 months now.
Yay.
And so something that keeps happening to me, I don't know if it happens to like other people, and this is totally the norm, but I get people super interested and I offer them the challenge pack. I only offer them like, you know, like with UPF, I've only offered them like the baseline pack with the Shakeology or the one that includes the workouts or whatever. And the pushback I get is like, you know, I'm either not a shake person or I have a shake that I really like. And so I usually try to explain like, this is why I really like Shakeology. This is why it's worked for me. But then they still like, that's a hard sell for them. So I'm like running into this thing where I'm selling like a lot of like the base pack that doesn't come with any of the, like doesn't come with Shakeology. So it doesn't count as success points or success club points. Or like I'm selling like, I don't know, like that's that kind of situation where I can't get it to like an actual challenge pack. And so I'm kind of curious as to like how, like, is that just a matter of being in this long enough to get the balance out to, you know, get more people to buy the challenge? I mean, you know, how do you push the, because I'd rather have them come in as a customer period and be able to have them help them out like that. And then just, you know, eventually maybe see if they'll switch over to Shakeology. But I'd be curious as to your guys' thoughts on that.
Sure. I think that's a really great question. And I'm really glad you asked, because I feel like this is a common thing that people run into, especially when you're newer to the business and you're trying to figure out how to word things. I think it's in Hard Hitters. I uploaded what I say. Was that in Hard Hitters? I uploaded what I say to people. The way I rarely get the pushback on Shakeology, rarely. And the reason why is because when I share with people, I think it's all about the wording and the way you share it. Because the way that I share it with them is I basically tell them what's included in the package, and I say that they throw in a bag of Shakeology with it, so you get to try it. So it's not a matter of them like getting the Shakeology; it's thrown in with the package. And I have found that the wording really helps with people. They're like, okay, well, I'll try it for a month, you know, and I always tell them there's no obligation to continue. But, you know, sometimes they do. So I think it's honestly just a matter of probably tweaking your wording and kind of figuring out how that can work for you. Let me see if I can find that. I can't remember.
I do the exact same thing, Margot. I've just changed the approach, and I'm like, this is your, like, you know, like in Young Living or the oils, they talk about your starter kit. Yep. Like I talk about this being your starter kit, what you get. They see the value. So I talk about the value in Beachbody On Demand a ton. And then they think, oh my God, I'm getting workouts for a year for $160. That's the value I put on it. Like Beachbody On Demand, I kind of act like that's the 160. And then bonus, you get Shakeology. Yep. So it changes their mindset. And I've also been starting to start higher. I start with the Ultimate Portion Fix Challenge Pack because if they're like objecting to the price, then I say, okay, I totally get that maybe not what's the best fit for you price-wise. So then let's just go down to the base package. So the base package for me is $160 always. Mm-hmm. Rarely do I ever just do the Beachbody On Demand. If someone's like massively allergic to something and everything, then we kind of go that route. But I really don't ever offer it that way anymore as an option.
Yep.
So when you combine UPF with the challenge pack, is that always going to be $200 or is it only for March and April?
I think it's $245 with its BOD, Shakeology, and Ultimate Portion Fix. I think it was $245.
Okay.
And that's the sale price.
I'm hoping
for 200 is what Kelly,
Oh, it's 200?
It's 200.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a 200 but you don't see that in the like what you would send them, but Kelly said at checkout they have the option to do BOD for $40.
Oh, good.
So that's where the 200 comes from.
That's what I thought somebody told me too. Yeah, so when you sign up for a UPF challenge pack, then you can add the bod.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's why I found Share Cart to be helpful, like, because I put their cart together for them. So yeah, I do exactly that. I put the UPF challenge pack together, and then when I go and I add a year of Beachbody On Demand on there, it's only $40. So it comes out to $200.
But
Okay.
isn't that going to go away after the end of April? The $40.
I don't think we really know whatever is really going to go away.
But that's the line right now, isn't it? The line right now is April.
Yeah, I
They
hope.
say that, but I've seen things not end.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
I'm hoping it doesn't end, but that's been my line. We got to get this in before tomorrow. That's what
Yeah,
I've been
and that's
trying
the
to.
truth. I mean, use that health. Like I said, use that healthy pressure on people. We don't know. It might. So, yeah. So when, like, to answer more of your question too, like, when my process for responding to somebody is kind of the back and forth, like, hey, share more with me about your goals, if someone's interested, and then I share with them about my experience. And then I say, does that sound like something that's going to be a good fit for you? Telling them about how, I did 21 day fix, lost 45 pounds, blah, 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 blah. Wherever you are in your journey. Okay. You just share it. And then they come back and you say, I would love to share more details with you're interested. Does that sound like it'd be a good fit for you? And then when I lay out the options, like Kinsey was saying, I simply just say, listen, like, you get this whole nutrition program, you get this, and I list it all out, which I'm trying to find. I can't find where I posted that, so I can post it again.
You put it in the, I remember, the Team Hard Hitter social media group.
Okay. All right. Maybe I'll send it to the diamond leaders. I'll send them to your coach. I'll have them send it to you so you can kind of see what I do. But yeah, and then I literally list everything that they get, and Shakeology is just included in there. I don't make it sound like a big deal. And so I think that might really help. So I'll send that out to, who's your coach?
Mine's McKenna. Sorry.
Oh no, you're fine.
Yeah, coach. My coach is Kelly.
Kelly? Okay, perfect. Yeah, I'll send it out again and tell them to send it to you guys just so you can kind of get an idea. And feel free to copy and paste it because I feel like it works. Tweak it for you. But I found it to be really, really successful. And just like Kinsey was saying, just listing out the options. And I don't even like Kinsey was saying, I started doing that too. And most people want the $200 option because they get the nutrition program with it. So yeah, hopefully that helps a little bit.
Maybe I was thinking it was with the performance, it was $245. I think that was like the big one.
Oh,
yeah, it's weird because the performance pack is $245, but it includes the lunch tote or whatever. But I was a little confused on how you do the $160 and then get the $40 for bod. I didn't realize that was like a thing. Do you have to do it through Share Cart and then it becomes $200 instead of the $245?
Yeah, it sounds like it's at checkout. You can add on Beachbody On Demand. It's an option, so you just have to let your customer know.
No. You put the UPF Shaco challenge pack in there, and then you go to continue shopping and you grab Beachbody On Demand by itself, and you choose 1 year. And when you do that, the price changes in the Share Cart from $99 to $40. The $245 includes that black lunchbox. So if you don't get that pack, you basically get everything but the lunchbox for $200. It's amazing.
Here, is anybody visual like me? Let me show you. Because what Steph said is exactly right. So when you go to do a new enrollment, I just put in another email address that I have. Okay, it says I'm not a member. So you would click customer, right? Like we all do, click continue. Okay. And then when you go to, you're going to go to challenge packs, and you're going to go to ultimate portion fix. And then you're going to go to this is the one without the tote. This is what I do because it's the 160. Okay. You select your flavor option. Let's go for combo today. And then select and continue. Okay. Then that's in the cart. Continue shopping. And then you're going to go to fitness programs, Beachbody On Demand. Just simply Beachbody On Demand by itself over here. And then you're going to select 12 months. And when you add it to the cart, before you send it, this is what you'll see. See, it takes it down to $40. So $200 right there. So, and then you can add anything else in there. So did that help to see it? Did you find it? Okay. I don't know. I'm so visual. Like sometimes when I'm hearing stuff, I'm like, I have to see it. So awesome. And that
Do you
gets
know if anyone has tried it the other way? Because I sent it to someone totally different than that. Because Kelly told me that they have the option to add it at the end.
I
So
think
hopefully
they probably can.
Okay.
I mean, they probably can.
I could resend it to them, but
Yeah, either way. But
They do have the option at checkout to add it.
okay. Okay.
I just feel like if I do it for them, sometimes it's just there and it makes it easy. And what's like one step that's easier for them.
Yeah.
So I haven't just sent the link with Ultimate Portion Fix because I'm scared they'll search around and change up their order or do something weird. So I'm a control freak like that, I think so. But so I haven't checked out that way. So you might be totally right. And yes,
I
it
have a
does.
question while I'm unmuted.
Yeah.
So just even going back further to sending out these share carts and everything.
Yeah.
I mean, the last 2 weeks of National Wake Up Calls, I feel like has gotten me out of this like comfort zone of sending people messages, and it's like really helped the last 2 weeks. So if you guys haven't listened to those, definitely listen to them. Because I really like how they say, you know, if people are following you, they're watching your stories, they know what you're doing. So I really liked that outlook. But I still like every day and they both had very simple things that they said that they send to people. And then I actually messaged one of them and just said, hey, I'm a fellow coach. I just would really like to know a little bit more, like, is this really all you do? Like, you just go to whoever's watching your stories and you tell them, send them a message. And she's like, yeah, that's all I do. So that helped me, but I don't know for like everyone else, because this was just the last 2 weeks that I've like broken down that barrier of feeling like I don't want to just cold message someone, but I really liked how they put it as, hey, thanks for watching my stories. I'm going to be starting my May boot camp. Would you like more information? And that's all I like just went through and I started sending. But like, what do you do? Like
I do the exact same thing. Like if people are watching my story, I have permission to message them, speaking it on my life, you know? Like I don't ever question messaging someone. If they watch me every single day, they watch me like doing my life, like I'm gonna reach out to them because it's easy. It's like, I know you, hey girl, I see you, I know you're watching me, and then invite them because you know, sometimes it takes that invite to the party. Not everybody's just going to come because they're watching and they see your polls and your invites. You have to personally reach out. I do the same exact thing with my posts on my Instagram. I'll actually, you know, put a call to action at the end. So maybe they didn't read my post at all. Maybe they just clicked my picture and liked it because they liked the picture. But at the end, I had a call to action that said like, hey, and for those of you who are ready to join me, let's chat some more. Are you ready? Da, da, da. So then I'll message that person back and say, hey, thanks so much for the love on my post the other day. I love hosting these boot camps like I was talking about in my post. Have you ever done one like this before? Because I put in my picture that she liked an invite. So it gave me permission to reach out and start that conversation. And I don't think it's weird at all. Like, how many messages do we all get from people all day long on Instagram about other stuff? So I've really stressed that to my Diamond Push group that, you know, those, anybody watching your story, any people liking, like what they call them on the National Wake Up Call, like lukewarm invites. They're not really cold. So I really liked that personally.
I love, Kinsey, I like how you said, you asked them like, have you ever done a boot camp like this before or like that before? That's a really good question.
It just starts that thread of conversation because they'll be like, most of the time they say no, or what's that, what it's all like. It you know, there's something that comes from that asking them.
Yeah, that's really good.
I've also tried to make it a little less scary and change it from invite to like, we're just gonna have a conversation. It's not like all scary to invite, but just say, hey, thanks for watching my stories. Have you ever done something like this? And that is an invite. Like it's an invite to join you in your journey, kind of.
Yeah.
So that's helped my brain like switch from being so scary of inviting.
Yeah, and I feel like it's not as much as like scary. I just was like at a point where I felt like I didn't know how to like even start that conversation, or people would say like I'm having these like you have to start having conversations with people. And then I felt like, okay, well, I'm starting to have conversations with people, but how is it leading to X, Y, and Z, or how is it leading to my challenge group or to coaching? Like I would have conversations, but then they would just be conversations. So
And we talked about this, I think, in my Diamond Push group, or maybe I can't remember, or maybe on the last, this call with everybody that, no, I totally lost my train of thought, but it was like, we are like allowed, God, now I forgot, but I was also going to say, that was not helpful. But going back to like commenting, reaching out to people who like your pictures, Kate Schultes, the one that was in the Super Saturday video, she talked to us at NLC, and she's one that sticks out in my mind all the time because she literally just tapped a picture and liked it, and that person reached out to her. She had no intention of doing anything that person was doing, and her coach reached out to her. So that is one that like sticks out in my mind so strongly that I'm like, you liked my picture, I'm going to reach out to you. And I think going back with those conversations, this is what I was going to say. If they're watching you and you are doing the things you're supposed to be doing with, promoting what you're doing as far as health and fitness goes, you can come out with the invite. You don't have to do this like form long convo thing back and forth. If they're watching you and they know what you're about, it's okay to go straight for that invite, I feel like.
Yeah, and I feel like that's what I really liked the last 2 weeks about the national wake up calls. Both of those girls said just that. Like, people are watching you, they know who you are and what you're doing. They wouldn't be, and especially like they wouldn't be following you if they didn't want to see it. So and like you said, sometimes it's like they just like your picture and they didn't even read your caption. But yeah, I mean, those really helped me. But I just always like to get tactical, like not so much I want to copy exactly what you're saying, but it just helps, like, to me, to have more confidence and just send it.
Yeah, and I do something very similar to Kinsey, and I just like, thank you. Just to give you another aspect too, like I just say pretty much the same thing, and like, thank you for watching my stories. It means so much. And I usually say, like, I'm so passionate about what I do. Have you ever considered joining one of my groups? And either like, no, I'm not interested right now, or but I've been thinking about tweaking that wording too, because I haven't found it through stories, like, and that kind of thing to be super successful, but I have found that to be successful in people connecting, like through just direct messages. When people start to follow me, I have found it to be very successful there. So
yeah.
So when you get when you add people, whether they're followers or on Facebook, and let's say they're not watching your story, how long do you wait before you initiate that conversation? Or are you doing like the 5-3-1 rule, like 5 things, comment on 3, and ask a question, or I can't remember what the actual thing is, but like, do you still engage in those conversations, or kind of just let them go because they're not engaging on your story?
Me personally, I send the message to them. And then if I don't get a response from them, I usually, sometimes I have people follow me that I'm like, this is not my type of person that would belong. And not that I'm trying to be picky, but I'm like, this is not like, I can tell they're from Nigeria, right? So like, do you know what I mean? So I look at their profile when they follow me. I write their name down. If they haven't responded to me, if it's someone that I want to go back and do the 5-3-1 rule with, if that makes sense. So because I feel like I'm not going to waste my time on people that I'm not meaning this, but I'm at that, I don't want to like pour a ton of time into somebody who's from Australia at this point, because it's not profitable for the business, but I will talk to them, if they reach out to me, absolutely, but I'm not going to take that extra effort. So if they don't respond to my initial message, then that's what I do. If they do respond to my initial message, I write down their name. I go back and forth with conversation. Something I have found to be really effective on maybe like the third message back and forth, like if they ask you a question, like my question that I ask when my initial message at the end is, I say, my life was changed 3 years ago. And I say, are you on a health journey too? And lots of people say, no, I'm not. Lots of people say, yes, I am. Other people say, what happened 3 years ago? I get that one a lot. Can I ask you what happened 3 years ago? And so I respond back with a voice memo. It takes me like 1 to 2 minutes in the car, on Instagram. And I tell them, and they hear my voice. And I've had so many people message me back and say, wow, thank you for like personally messaging me back. It was fun to hear your voice. So just to give you that little tip, like, and I don't do it right away, but yeah, like voice memos are money. People like feel like, oh my gosh, like this girl actually cares about me. Like she wants to share. She like, she's like a real person. She's not just trying to like, make some kind of a sale or whatever. Cause anyway, so that's kind of what I do. And then I connect back and forth. And then if they stop responding or they're, it's kind of I call it a dead end conversation. Then I just kind of I kind of write their name down and I go back to them about 2 to 3 weeks later. And I just do like the 5-3-1, kind of rotate through a list every 2 to 3 weeks of people.
Okay. And then I had one more question, but so how much do you track? So do you just track like their name? And like if you sent an intro message and if they responded, I guess like I'm getting caught up and I'm wasting so much time tracking all the messages I'm sending that then I kind of feel discouraged, like, oh, I don't want to do that again. I just tracked like 100 messages.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to like simplify my method, I guess. So what do you do?
Yeah, no, I am the worst tracker in the whole entire world. I love my computer, but I hate tracking on the computer. I'm a pen and paper person or a notes on my phone person, but I'm still horrible at it. So I'm going to tell you what I do.
Okay.
There is I will write down their name in the notes section of my phone, or I will write it down on a piece of paper that I keep by my computer where I work. And that's how I track. I literally like just keep a check mark by their name every time I check in with them because I've got 3 kids. I'm pregnant. I'm tired, like your life is also about to get very busy, and so some people find a lot of satisfaction in tracking on the computer. And I'm so jealous, like, because I think I could be much more efficient that way. But for me in the stage of life that I'm at, it's either in the notes on my phone that I rotate through, or it's on the piece of paper by my computer. And I literally just keep a check mark by their name. And then I go through that list, like I said, every 2 to 3 weeks and follow up with people. And if I go back to the last message, lots of times I mark next to their name where like I for interested. So I know like I need to check back in with them sooner. But if it's just a regular check-in, then I just go back to the check mark and I rotate through that list. Like, hey, I haven't forgotten about you. How are you doing? Or whatever it may be. That's kind of what I do. So, and if it's been like 2 check marks and they're not responding to me, then I cross them off the list for now. And then if they respond to me later, I look back and I'm like, oh, hey, they have been watching, you know what I mean? So that's kind of what I do, but I'm not the most organized person in the world. I wish I had time to be, but I'm just not.
I'm on Margot's level with the tracking, but I did start doing something that has kind of started working a little bit better. I tried Teamsy for a little while. It was just a waste of money, and for me personally. But I started using a Google Sheet where I could just at least pour everyone's name onto, and then I really liked the part of it where in the one column I just keep track of the info about that person in our conversation, like is a nurse, has 3 kids. So like I keep that info handy that I don't have to go back through our conversation and be like, oh, that's right, she's so-and-so from Maryland or whatever. Because I don't want to be non-genuine with that person. I really do care about them, but I talk to so many people that I need to keep track somehow. And that's been working well for me. It's just a Google Sheet. It's nothing fancy, but it's just kind of something that's been working a little bit better. I still go back to my pen and paper too. It's hard to break that, but I don't know. I'm not the best at tracking.
Yeah.
I think it's just the nature of the beast. I mean, I made a Google Sheet today and I was putting names down, and then I found myself, 8 conversations out and I'd put nothing on the sheet. I thought, oh crap, now I've got to figure out who I have to go back and put on the sheet. I'm sorry.
I think it's just a total personal thing,
Yeah. So that's the thing is, is just figuring out how to keep track of it, because I like the idea of not having to reread every single message. It's a time suck. You gotta, if you have just those notes, that's huge.
Yeah. Yeah.
What other things do you keep track of besides interested? I mean, like, they're interested. Do you keep track of, like,
I do
check back at when to come back?
Like if I did my initial contact with them, and then usually a follow-up. I have another column for like a follow-up, but I'm not good about putting in that. And then the date I sent them a challenge pack order. And then once they purchase, I just highlight their name in green, because then those people are going to go to my coach prospect list after that.
I started a Google Sheet and it wasn't working at first, but what I decided to do now is if I need to follow up with them like in May, like my highlight color is orange. So if they say, oh, talk to me in a month, I just highlight in orange and then I'm going back and following up. I just didn't know if I was missing, like if there was a simpler method, but I'm glad to know I'm not the only one that struggles. So I'll find, happiness in that.
Yeah, you're not. I mean, I love all these ideas and I love hearing it. And I'm like, oh, I want to do that. And I've tried to implement so many things. And I think you have to find what works for you, and what works for you might be different. Like, cause what worked for me before I had 3 kids, when I just had 2 and I was running the business, doesn't work for me now that I have 3. Like it just doesn't, like with my time and how different my kiddo is and waking up early and life changes. And so I think you just find your system. I think that's great. And you do what works for you. So Kat said something. She said, I'm always struggling to find people to message other than those watching my stories and liking my posts. Yes, I know that's tricky. Is she still on here? Yes, she is. Good. It is tricky. So that's why I think it's important to keep adding people to your network. So, keep adding, 10 people a day at least to your network. That you can, and if you're having trouble finding people, if you're on Facebook, go to somebody's, one of your friends' list, and people you may know, you can add people that way. It's a great way to find people. On Instagram, it's really important that we all know like those 5 to 10 things that define us and who we are, that make us unique, things you love, and search hashtags related to that and start following people that, have those same interests. And then, the more people you follow, the more people you're going to have to message. So Kat, that would be my encouragement to you, just to do that, just to keep adding people to your network, and then keep, messaging them, thanking them for following you, just sending us, if they follow you back, just sending them that simple message of thank you so much for the follow. I'm really passionate about what I do. Tell me a little bit more about you. Are you on a health journey too? Or something simple so you can start the connection going, but that doesn't happen unless you're following new people. So search hashtags, people you may know on Facebook, friends of friends. And it does take work, but it gets easier as you kind of push along in that. So what other questions do people have? Where are you struggling?
I just wanted to quickly say, because I checked my Instagram stories from sending out a bunch of those just simple messages before dinner, and I just checked, and 5 people wrote me back saying, sure.
Yay!
So I'm like, okay, just do it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, she can't talk because her boyfriend is asleep next to her. That's okay. I get it. That's okay. You can just type whatever you need to type. It's late here too. I'm like, it's almost my bedtime. That's awesome, Rachel. That's awesome. Yay. I love it when you get like you're like, yes, something's working. So that's awesome. Anybody else have anything? I know there were a couple of questions from, let me check my messages that some of the coaches had sent to me. How to close the sale. We talked about that a little bit. Sorry guys, let me check this out. Anybody else have anything while I'm looking through here? Consistency with inviting in general, the coaching opportunity, how to grow your following on social media. Okay, let's see. Hold on. Okay. Okay, let's talk about really quickly. We talked about consistency with inviting. So here's my recommendation if you're struggling with consistency in inviting. Just like it takes, a certain amount of days, depending on what kind of a habit you're trying to form, to build a habit, it's the same thing with inviting. And, in months like this where it feels dead, what I always tell my coaches is that I always like to think about it like, right now you've got a small little snowball, and it may not feel like you have much more and that it's growing, but as the snowball starts to roll down the mountain, it grows and it gains momentum and it builds and it packs along the way. So that's what you're doing right now. So your consistency is going to keep that snowball rolling, and it's going to pack down and add more and more to it. And people are going to really see that you're being consistent. So to build the habit though, you got to show up every day. So and specifically inviting to the coaching opportunity, because that was another question, kind of like what Kinsey was saying. I love that she has her challenge group list, and then she moves them over once they sign up with the challenge pack, she moves them over to the coaching prospect list. It's a brilliant idea, a good way to keep track of it. Challengers are always, our best coaches for the most part. But here's the thing that I've discovered, because to be completely frank with you, I used to be a great recruiter and I've become a very sucky recruiter, and I'm working on it. I don't know why my mindset has just I got scared, and anyways, long story short, but I've been getting back into it. And the thing that I realized was I was not consistently talking about the coaching opportunity in my posts. I never had a problem selling a challenge pack for the most part because I talk about it all the freaking time. But coaching, no wonder I'm not signing coaches, because I'm not talking about it. And we get afraid to share about the coaching opportunity because we're afraid of what people are going to think. But we're girl bosses. We are rocking it. And like we've been talking about it, if people are following you, it's because they want to, not because they have to, because they can unfollow you if they don't want to. So my biggest piece of advice for you is to create a consistent schedule for yourself while you get used to it, where you talk about, maybe Motivation Monday, Transformation Tuesday, where you talk about your opportunity for your boot camps. Wednesday, you talk about the coaching opportunity. Thursday, maybe another transformation story from one of your challengers. Friday, Fit Tip Friday or something. Then you always share about the coaching opportunity or your challenge group on Sunday night again. It's a great time to share. Create a posting schedule. Stick it on your wall so that you're not like, what do I post? That every, whatever it is, Wednesday and every Sunday, you're talking about the coaching opportunity. Every Tuesday and every Thursday, you're sharing about how somebody's life has been transformed through a boot camp, even if you're not doing a direct call to action. And if you do that, if you stay consistent with the way you post, people are consistently going to watch you and consistently want to join you, right? So consistency in posting transfers over to consistency in customers. I promise you, if you just stay consistent. But lots of times we just are afraid to post. And, this month I was talking to my Diamond girls, and I was struggling. I was like, what do I post? What in the world do I post? I just had a brain block. So I went back to a year ago to a post that I made. I pulled it up and I reposted it and I tweaked it. I'm not suggesting you do that all the time, but there's always a way to find, a draw for people, always a way to share, even when you feel like you got a brain block. But if you stay consistent and just stay committed to sharing, I promise you that your consistency will pay off, even if it's 60 to 90 days from now, because it does pay off in the business. And then the other question that somebody was asking was about how to grow your following on social media. And I talked about this on a call. Was it the Hard Hitters call that I talked about this 2 months ago, I think? If you have not watched that video, go back and watch it. I gave you all of my best practices for building a following on Instagram, and mostly Instagram. And I'm not just saying this because I did it, but I think it was really helpful because I got good feedback on it. But it basically tells you in that call just exactly how I've grown my following, how you follow up with people in messages, and what I have done to grow my following. Even though I'm not a rock star on Instagram, I'm still trying to figure it out. It's still frustrating for me, but I have been able to grow my following. So I would suggest you go watch that video. I think it's worth the watch. But basically I talk about, to grow your social media following, you need to really be you need to be searching those hashtags. You need to be finding other people who are like-minded like you, and you have to know your target market, and you got to search after it and find those people that are similar to you. And it does take work, but once you get the ball rolling, it becomes a lot easier. So I would suggest you go watch that video. But yeah, so it's been an hour, so I don't want to keep you guys, much longer, but does anybody else have any other questions that they want to ask or things they want to say? No. Listen, you guys, you can do it. You can get to diamond, and it's worth it. And I really, truly believe that sometimes that the only thing standing in our way is our mindset to get to diamond, because we get scared at some point. Like we get to emerald, we're like, oh, that's easy. Like and then all of a sudden it's like diamond is this huge thing. No, it doesn't have to be this huge thing. You just have to be consistent, and you're going to get there. Make a goal to get there, hit Success Club, make it a non-negotiable, and make your goals happen every single month. And like I said, if you get to the last day of the month and you've given your hardest and you don't hit the goals, don't go, well, screw it, I'm done, okay? That's not what grit says. Grit says, okay, I'm going to work harder next month and figure out what didn't work last month so I can make this month happen, right? So I know all of us believe in you. You guys can do it. And April can finish strong. We still have a day left, you guys. We have a whole 24 hours to make stuff happen. And you can do it. And then May's going to be great too. So I hope this was helpful. Oh, you're so welcome. And yeah, let me know if you have any questions. Feel free to message me, and I'm happy to help in any way. So
Thought it was really good. One of the on National Wake Up Call, something, or maybe it was last night on a call that we had, that just, if you're feeling discouraged, did you skip your personal development? If you skip your personal development, it messes with your brain. And it's so true. You wake up and you're like, it's not going to happen. So then you got to pull that book out. You've got to keep feeding yourself positive so that it crowds out, the negative thoughts that come through that you're just never going to do it. That's not true.
It's so, yeah. And you're proof of that. You're pushing forward every single week. I love it. So awesome. Well, thanks for hopping on, you guys. And yeah, feel free to message me with any questions.
Thanks, Margot.
You're welcome. Bye, guys.